Hey guys, Sean, Leslie the for Dummies. Crash course in a TIPX regulator. How am I going to plug the PRV? So this is what your reg looks like when you pull it out. Velocity adjuster, reg spring, and if you're as old as I am, to get the piston out, it's like, remember when you used to whack the card case to get like your hockey card out? So just give it a whack like that, it pops out. This is the newest version of the TIPX reg, and you can tell because it has a set screw there instead of a ball. The balls are prone to leaking, and what's different about the old one to the new one is you won't be able to see this, but this hole, this PRV hole, is straight through. In the older one, and this relates kind of to a lot of markers like an FSC, the older TIPX had a ball and spring inside the stem, much like an FSC, and that's what I mean by it's not exactly the same, but this translates to a lot of other markers in the basic function of how it works. So that stem's hollow. I'll quickly disassemble this and kind of give you the lowdown of how it works. So your stuff is like this. Air goes in this hole here, and it's a tug of war. Your spring tension is telling your air bottle how much air to let in. So the tighter your velocity screw, the more air pressure it's going to take to open, to open your piston. And how the PRV works in this particular jazz is a little bit different because it doesn't have that ball and plunger. Normally there's an O-ring in the end of this. I've pulled it out for this video, but this pin seals in the O-ring. Gas your marker up. The piston moves to its designated position based on how you set your velocity, and this pin moves with it and keeps that through hole plugged. Now, when you reach an overpressure situation, the piston is going to move not in sync with this pin. And when that happens, it opens up this hole, which vents. So as soon as you overpressurize and these things get out of whack, like that, it vents. My previous resolution to this was I drilled and tapped the stem. It works. It works 100%. Now, for the sake of the community, I always try to find an easier way to plug, to do things. I mean, not everybody's handy, and as simple as a tap is in this situation, brass is very soft. It's very easy to tap. There's nothing really to it. You could literally just go and tap it and it'd be no problems. I came out with this. I don't know if it works yet. This is a 2mm. I'll put the link in the video, and it's going to be in the video description. It's going to be a Canadian link, but you will find these on Amazon. This is a 2mm by 18mm stainless steel serrated pin. And if you're a Humorex guy, this looks very familiar with the one that goes through kind of your Picatinny rail of your HTP 50. And you can see it fits very precisely in there, but it's not tight. So I'm gonna have to use Loctite. And here's the original problem was I just bought a pin like this, and I thought, okay, I'll just push it in and Loctite it. Danger zone. There is nothing retaining this pin from actually shooting out the other side like a rocket. And that is why I chose one with the serrated end. So I'll show you how to do it. Don't even know if it's gonna work. I'm just gonna use this vise. You know, you can do this freehand or whatever, but I have a vise, so it's convenient, and I have these rubber jawed grips. So I'm gonna put my piston down in that. I know the pin fits. You should clean everything, you know, if there's residual oil and the like on the pin or the inside that PRV hole, it may not make a good set with Loctite. So I went back and forth between what kind of Loctite I was going to use. Now, if this fails, well, red Loctite generally is going to need heat to release it. In any case, I'm probably going to have to bang this out if it doesn't work anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. But we're going to use blue. I have gel, which is more of like, you know, it doesn't run away. It's not liquid. But I think most of you guys have access to just a standard blue medium liquid Loctite. So that's what I'm going to use, and hopefully it works. I'm going to take everything off that I don't need, just so I don't contaminate any O-rings or anything. So just pinch that and kind of roll your O-ring off. Oops. There we go. Just set aside. Like I said, I'm going to use this vise because I have it. You could do it freehand or get your wife to hold it while you hit it with a hammer. So I'm going to put a dab of thread locker right on that hole. I'm also going to kind of wet this pin. And now it's kind of greasy because I just touched that other stuff. So I'm going to wipe it off again and wipe my hands off again. And then I'm going to use a punch of the appropriate size, and I'm going to tap it in. The size that I chose is 18 millimeter pin. When it's flush inside this recessed hole, it will not protrude the other side. Now, you could use a variety of sizes. This is pretty much the maximum. And the reason I chose that was because there's a chance of leaking. It would be with a shorter pin. The more space that you have that occupies this hole is going to be less prone to a leak. I'm doing this for the first time on camera, so bear with me. Things can and do go wrong, like I said. Okay. Shake my Loctite up. I always keep something handy here because it tends to come blobbing out all the time. It's a good enough drop to fill the cavity, and you can see it just slip through. Then I'm going to get it on this pin in no really apparent fashion. I put it down in the hole like that, wipe my fingers off. I'm gonna use this pin, this punch I'm gonna use. Get it down like that. I'm just gonna tap it till it's flush. With my little tiny hammer, which I don't think is big enough. Bigger hammer. And you know what? I'm just gonna tighten the vise up just a little. Hitting against rubber might not necessarily be the best case. I should probably be on something more solid, but it's just how I chose to do it. It is going down. I might actually just switch the punch here to one that's big enough that it won't like overset this pin, although I don't think that's terribly important at this point because it's not going to go through. You can see this pin is like, or sorry, this punch is pretty much the exact diameter there. Okay, that looks good. Let's get a close up here. So let's set the pin down. Just wipe off the excess here. And that's why I wanted to remove the O-ring. I don't want to contaminate anything here. And you can see the pin's not even completely flush, but I think, oh, and there you go. There is Loctite coming out the end, which is good. Loctite is anaerobic, I think is the word. So it sets in the absence of oxygen. And what that means is you're gonna have to let this sit for 24 hours. I'm gonna wipe that flush so it's all clean. Make sure this is nice and clean, because after 24 hours, it'll be more difficult to remove. And that is where we're going to leave off for now. We will reassemble in 24 hours. All right, 24 hours have passed. You can see that's the tip of the pin kind of sticking out. There's a little bit of blue Loctite still on there, no big deal. And you can see, I actually hit it a couple more times just because I'm OCD. So this pin is mostly flush now. And now is the time to reassemble your regulator. So just move that out of the way here. Oh, leftovers. Reg body. What you don't need anymore is this pin. So set that aside. This is the end cap. It has an O-ring seal on it. It's as simple as threading it back in. No ugga-duggas required. 3/16 wrench. And that's it. Like, you don't have to crank this. That's it. It's good. It's set. Take your piston. Reinstall the O-ring on it here. Now is a great time to put a little lubrication on it. Little dab will do ya. Plop it in the hole. Oh, and okay, this is like a Delrin washer, kind of to stop the binding when you're adjusting your regulator. I usually just put it back on. Just, oh, so you don't lose it. And much like the FSC bypass that I do, I reinstall the regulator spring. And the reason for this is it's for alignment. So if you're transporting this marker, it would be possible without this spring that your piston could shift kind of off kilter, and that may cause a leak. So this spring just helps keep it aligned. This fell out of the end cap that I should have showed you. It's not required. I probably would put it back in just so you don't lose it, unless you're like me and you have these little containers everywhere that you can put stuff in specifically marked for a particular marker. And then velocity cap. Thread it back in. And what I do, I just hand thread it until it's pretty much hand tight. In particular, the TIPX, it does have to be threaded in just enough so it can clear the body. And then I just leave it like that. That, hopefully, is a bypassed regulator. So I'll go install it in my marker and you guys will see, did it work or did I fail miserably? All right, guys, it is back together. Let's see if it works. So I'll put a fresh CO2 in. I just put it in the factory TIPX barrel because it was what's laying on my table here. Fresh CO2. And when I reassembled this, I did do something different. Well, besides the TIPX barrel, just the stock barrel, I put the shaped breech block in because I thought, if it works, I want to shoot some Grimberg HP68s. Of all my markers, the TIPX was very much the most reliable shaped projectile shooter I had. All right, well, let's charge it up. Oh, you know what? I better put a plug in the end here. Okay. First attempt, new attempt at a bypassed TIPX regulator. Oh, is that off? That's off. Hey! Oh man, I love when stuff works. The first time too. Well, that's a start for sure. How it holds up over time, well, yeah, that remains to be seen, but it's holding air and I don't suspect anything's gonna happen. Let's go over this marker quick. So yeah, shape breech block, and this is a factory TIPX spool valve. This is not a TCR valve. This is the factory TIPX spool valve with a bypass regulator. So let me just load up some of these HP68s here. Ooh, I'm excited. Yeah. So I'll put a full 12 in here, I guess. No, once more. One more. There we go. Full 12. Okay. First one over the chronograph. Coming in hot. 334. Nice. That's a factory barrel too. Not too shabby. Oops. 318. $300. $278. Ah, you get the point. Well, it shoot all 12. It should because it's just the factory valve. Oops, hey. Whoo, bam. Awesome. I love it when a plan comes together. I hope this video was helpful. Moving forward, yeah, those pins are cheap and Loctite's cheap. What can I say? It works. See ya.